Hi, welcome to another episode of Hands On. We are fixing a farm and we are doing it ourselves. In the last episode, we suffered a major setback. We were trying to find the electrical junction box with the hope that the connection was alive. While we found it, but there was no sign of any electricity and the meter was dead. I was quite discouraged, but today I am back with a bang. The farm was very green after a few unseasonal summer rains, and I noticed almost as if to compensate our setback, nature had given us a bounty of two green vegetables. Let's call them the green sacks, which are amaranth and desert horse purslane. It was growing in abundance and wild at the farm. I was quite delighted with my find, but that meant big trouble for the kids, who, let's say, have a rather low tolerance to green leafy vegetables. They were clearly not happy with the new and abundant find at the farm. I merely harvested a lot of sag, and I was very picky and choosy because there was so much to choose from. The long and short of it is that I fed so much sag to my kids, my in laws, and my neighbors that they were all fed up from the sag overload. Mornings are magical at the farm. You can see and hear a variety of birds and hear the bird song. Today, I had come armed with my DSLR to capture some of these beautiful birds on the camera. The rainy season is also going to start soon, and today I had also carried some basil seeds to spread at the farm in the hope that the basil will grow wild in the farm just like the sag. But in hindsight, it made a very funny sight of me lugging along a DSLR camera with a telephoto lens no less, wearing my Spider-Man t-shirt and spreading basil seeds. The lower farm is just growing wild, with a lot of weeds and wild trees growing out of nowhere. A larger peepal tree right at the back had fallen due to the recent heavy rains and strong winds. On the other corner, the bougainvillea was thriving. It was in full bloom. It was a riot of colors and textures. It was beautiful. As I was heading up towards the upper farm, I encountered these overgrown babool and kikar trees that were obstructing the path. I therefore decided to take them head on and started pruning the babool boys. There were a lot of trees that needed pruning, and I just swiftly moved on from one to the next. I was better prepared today with gloves and this terrific pruning saw attached on a bamboo pole that kept me out of the thorns. It made all the difference. After taking care of these trees in the middle farm, I moved on to the upper farm and did a surgical strike on the babool boys there as well. It was a quick task and a great win. As I sat down for my customary coffee, I was feeling happy with the lovely morning I had enjoyed at the farm. The greenery, the bird song, the flowers and the colors, and also got in decent amount of work. So it was a good accomplishment. A great day altogether. Today I came to the farm mainly to drop some more outdoor chairs that I had bought from FB Marketplace and some other miscellaneous stuff that needed to be brought to the farm. Today I had also planned to attach a handle or a pole to the rake head that I had bought from Amazon recently. I started doing that but quickly realized the babool branch that I wanted to use as the pole had a lot of thorns and I didn't have the right tools to take care of that. So I just kept everything back and instead used the opportunity and the time to harvest and take some more of the deadly sag home. I was back at the farm after almost a week. It was a big day because my son, Junior, was joining me at the farm for the first time since he finished college recently and came back home after 4 years. It was also a big day for another reason. We had made our first big purchase for the farm. We bought a new wheelbarrow and we were quite excited with our new toy. You can see us horsing around with it going up and down the path in front of the farm and doing what father and son do. It was a really nice and windy day and we were having fun with the wheelbarrow. Today, we got new car. Bro, badass stuff. Real stuff. Cool stuff. My son gave Happy Father's Day gift. Posing, taking pictures, testing its maneuverability, speed, and its racing lineage. The barrow is quite well built and it is very easy to maneuver. It's good fun. It rained last night. It's been very hot for the last few days. It rained last night and it's so pleasant and it's so breezy and windy. Just a perfect day. So today we want to take care of some of these stones and bricks which are strewn all over the place. And we can't start trimming the grass and all that if all these things are there, because then it will damage the equipment. So what we're going to try to do is to gather all these stones at one place. There are some gaps in the so-called driveway. We'll put some broken stones there so that can be used to repair later on. And the bigger ones we'll put in a corner because eventually we need it around the farm for something or the other. So we're going to do that, and then that side we are going to try and trim some of the trees, uh, do some aggressive pruning so that they grow well in the coming monsoon season. I really like this, although they are all wild trees, but I like them because first of all they're native, and secondly they've really grown up well. They're big trees and it's difficult to find good big trees, so I want to make sure that they live to their full potential. So yeah, so that's today. Let's go! We also then put the barrow to a real test. The first task for it was to collect a whole lot of stones that were spread all over the farm. We collected almost 3 wheelbarrow loads of rocks. The bricks we collected were separated in 2 piles. One, the full bricks that we kept on the side for future use to maybe build something, and another pile of broken pieces that we used to repair the driveway portion. This is the portion as soon as you enter the gate. Over the years, the level of the driveway had eroded almost 6 to 8 inches. So we spread the rocks in layers there in the best way possible. It was not perfect, but it was a big improvement. We had in the process done a lot of picking, bending, sitting, squatting, etc. That the next day all our leg muscles were sore and aching from this heavy workout. Then we took on some aggressive pruning of the large native trees near the gate. This cluster was that of the biggest native trees on the farm. We were able to accomplish a lot of work today because Junior was by my side and suddenly our workforce had doubled. Not only did we take turns and quickly dealt with the pruning and piled up the cuttings in one corner near the wall for mulching later, perhaps. We had also earlier picked up a lot of trash that we had found while collecting the stones. It was old disintegrating sacks, some plastic sheets, old PET bottles, and even some paper and other small plastic items. So we collected it and kept it in a corner and bagged it for proper disposal later. We were soaked in sweat by the end of the day, but it was very satisfying to be able to do so many things. And now that we were getting bigger tools, better tools like pruning, saw, etc., it was giving us the ability to tackle some of the things that we couldn't have done earlier. I tried to harvest some more of that green leafy sag, but Junior put his foot down and said, "Not that, please," and I left it at that. It's been a couple of days, and we are back again with another load of stuff like crates and other storage containers that we will use at the farm. And also got some new tools like a new grass trimmer, my new toy. The wheelbarrow was coming in real handy for shifting all this stuff too. It was a good call to buy it early. At some point, I had a feeling that this wheelbarrow was perhaps an unnecessary purchase, but not really. One of the big tasks planned for today was to start cleaning the fort from inside, and in anticipation of that only, we had brought more stuff to be kept at the farm once the place was clean. We were, however, clueless about where to start from and finally decided that we should start from one corner. In fact, from the room we had discovered in the last episode. That was relatively cleaner than the rest of the fort, which had more muck and cow dung, and we really didn't have the tools for that either. We started from the bathroom, the same one that had the king's throne stolen from. So we put on our masks and hat and began the epic cleanse. The entire place was so dusty and full of spiders, therefore a lot of cobwebs all around. We dusted the walls and removed the cobwebs everywhere with a broom. The sun was bright, therefore thankfully there was enough light inside, as there is still no electricity or water at the farm. There was so much sand on the floor, taken out either by the ants or a small rodent, and it was therefore another task for the barrow. And we gathered all the sand in the barrow, and it was almost half a barrow full. We also found some trash that we bagged separately. We had missed to clean behind the door, and there were a lot of cobwebs, and we realized the bathroom door was completely termite ridden, and we will have to scrap and replace the door eventually. We thought that rather than throwing it away, we can use the sand as a filler between the stones that we had laid on the driveway the last time. Since the sand was not enough, we concentrated on spreading it in the center, which is used to walk in. It wasn't finished, but it was a huge improvement. We then came back in and concentrated on the room. It was the same process. Clean the dust and remove the cobwebs from all the walls, windows, and doors, and then sweep the floor. It was such an exhausting and time consuming process. We then moved on to the passage to the rear door, and it was again a lot of dust, clean, sweep, and repeat again and repeat again. The dust was so thick that we had to make 2 or 3 sweeping passes in the passage to get it all out. Once again, we forgot behind the door, and it was like a cobweb world out there. Finally, we were done with the passage. We then made this room our temporary storage for all our tools and supplies and the random stuff we were slowly bringing to the farm. We had taken a huge step forward today. We had become more organized. The room, the bathroom, and the passage were all so clean and sparkling compared to how it was a couple of hours ago. We had originally planned to clean the kitchen today as well, but we were too tired and way behind schedule for the day, so we left it for another day. Father and son, happy and contented with the progress today, sat on the now so clean patio and enjoyed our customary coffee and the beautiful view and bird song, chatting about the future plans and the progress so far. We were covered in dust, but bathed in contentment. So I hope you found this video satisfying to watch. Please share, subscribe, and like if you already haven't. It really helps us grow. See you next time. Bye.